Okay, I'd like to call the April 12th, 2016 Public Works Board to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fritsch? Mr. Schar?
Here.
Mr. Pickard?
Here.
Mr. Reich? Mr. Temperley?
Here.
Mrs. Wolf?
Okay. Next is tour of current and future project sites. And Steve, did you want to just go over that real quickly? Anything to discuss ahead of time, or should we just go on the tour?
I do.
Dwayne's going to do most of the talking. I'm going to sit in the back of the bus and try and be quiet. That doesn't happen too often, but I'll try. The Public Works Building we're going to start at the Public Works Building. Okay, and Paul has a story to tell.
Hope it's not a long one.
It's a long one. It's about how he needs more money.
Now, when he moves into the city, then he can ask.
I don't know. See, he lives in the town of Harmony, and it's so nice there. They throw soft rocks. There's at least two. And then we're going to the wastewater treatment plant, Brewster Street, Mulberry Street, Mulberry pedestrian crossing, Culvers, Elm Street, cemetery paving, Griffith Street, the dam, South Main Street, the electric upgrades on Sandy Beach to City Hall, Topol Street, County Highway A, East Lake Park Place, and the Water Street Sanitary Sewer Slip Line Project. And we're not starting there.
So we ready to go? All right.
All right.
We still are waiting for Doug. We know he's coming.
Maybe we can meet him outside where it's nice, in the nice sunlight.
Where do you want to go now?
Yep. Then if you take a hard left here,
All right.
we'll just stop right by that A-frame up there if you want to. This will work.
Okay.
Okay, how's this? Okay, Dave? Hey, just a couple of things before we go in. Keep in mind that the building is under construction. It's a mess. And also there you'll have to watch out where you step. There's stuff all over. And just, I guess, be ready for that. Kind of watch out where you are.
I'll get smilier as we go on.
Good.
Remember, keep it to a moment.
Okay. We're gonna go real quick here. I think what I'd like to do is start over in the garage over here, real quick. I just want to start on this side real quick because obviously this is the street side. Not a whole lot is happening here, but the only thing we've done here is change the lighting. And if you remember what it used to look like here, it was very dark and dingy. So we've got better lighting, more lights, and actually we're using less energy. Very high efficiency T8 or T4 actually, fluorescent lighting. But this area hasn't changed much. When we go back in here, if you recall what the place used to look like, we've made a lot of changes in the office, and then when we get over to the Parks and Forestry part, I hope you'll notice a huge change over there. So, that one right there is probably the oldest one, Steve. Yep. So we've added quite a few walls and done quite a bit of reconfiguring in here. These are the two bathrooms. The men's and the women's bathrooms used to be the exact same size. That didn't work very well, and so what we've done now is double the size of the men's and have the size of the women's, but now there's both of them have locker rooms in them, showers, all that stuff that wasn't in there before. And then we reconfigured this part down here. This room right here now will be where the streets department guys get together. It's their crew room. They used to meet back in the shop back there, just grabbed a bunch of old chairs and met back there, so now they actually have their own crew room. We took out a wall over there and put in a map room, so that's where we'll keep all of our street maps and things like that. And then the far room back there is where we keep Dwayne. And he is guarding the door because that will now be the main door. This one over here will be permanently locked. This will be the main entrance over here. Hi, guys. All right. If you recall the way this was set up before, this was all one big room. This room,
There was an entryway
oh,
here,
there was a glass door and an entryway here. There was a wall here, and then,
window right there.
yep, and then this was the kitchen and the break room and all that sort of thing. This will now be the conference room right here. This room will be for the Parks and Forestry crew. That'll be their get-together room. There'll also be, I think there'll be some lockers and storage areas in there. And in this room, and here will be the break room. And as you can see, they're just starting to get the cabinets and stuff in.
So some of these rooms are shared between Parks and Forestry and the streets?
All but those two. Like their crew rooms will be the only thing that are separate. Otherwise, everything is shared. You'll see when we go in the back. That's what we've done back there, too. So again, break room. Just so they had their own space. The street guys come in at 6, typically 6 to 2:30. The parks guys come in at 7, just to give them their own space so they aren't interrupting each other. And to keep some peace in the family, so they've got their own place to go. Oh yeah, we all do, Doug, but not every day. All right, we'll go out into the new shop area. So here's, please watch your step out here. Two times bigger, a little over 2 times bigger.
Than the Parks has?
Yeah,
Or that this building is bigger than ours?
the entire building.
Only that area in the back there.
Yeah, from those beams out is only the new part.
This area is the same size, but what we did was they had those offices going all the way across, and we took several of those offices out and pushed the door through so that you could go through from end to end, rather than, you used to have to stack the vehicles and then you have to unstack them, so you'd be moving vehicles in and out, now you have a route through.
Yep. Yeah, both sides of the building are now drive-through. So this is,
Some of the work areas,
yeah, this is the parks area now. And it is about twice the size of what they had before.
it's more than twice the size of what they've ever had.
Yes.
But they have like buildings all over the city that they're not gonna consolidate into this one.
Yep. So this is the main garage area. These doors are right behind this wall is where their workshop will be, where they, repair the picnic tables, etc. It's considerably bigger than it used to be. All of the HVAC equipment is now upstairs. When this building was initially built, there were 2 pods of HVAC equipment. One sat back there and one sat over on the other side. Both of them were undersized, totally inadequate, and didn't work. And so now, brand new heating system, high efficiency heating, brand new. All of that up there will be storage. Let's see, what else did I want to mention up there? Oh, it's got all the heat recovery, all the high efficiency heating system now. And it's for the whole building is up there. It's not spaced out all over the place.
So is all of this HV stuff new?
Yes.
That whole thing?
Yes. Yeah. And if you look up straight up, these are called infrared heaters. We had infrared heat in here. That's simply what happens is a flame is ignited on one end and it blows the heat through these things. And we had a very old inefficient system. These are all brand new also, high efficiency. We didn't, if you remember in the light and water building, we put heat in the floor. We didn't do that here. We just replaced all the heat up above. And I'm going to ask you to look up every once in a while because that's the story that Steve wants me to tell. From this point out and over, this is all the new section here. Pardon me? From this point here, this is where the old end of the garage used to be. All this is brand new.
This will be whose?
This is Parks and Forestry.
Still be parks.
Yep.
This whole floor.
This whole thing, right. So this whole side is theirs. This is the side where the roof is brand new and it doesn't leak. When we go over here where it's a little quieter, I'll explain that to you. This is new too, right. This is a new mechanics bay. Just on the other side of this door is the old mechanics bay. That's where James does all his work. This door will come out. It's in here now because we're not confident in being able to lock both sides, and so we've got this side locked down. But we'll basically quadruple the space we've got for working on vehicles. That room back there will be all the service parts and everything that they basically have locked in the fence over here. So it's really expanding this, making this part much more efficient. We're able to, bring all of our trucks in here now, whether it's light and water or city trucks or the parks vehicles, the parks mowers, all that stuff. And one of the things we're doing, one of the unique things we're doing is over on this side we've got a vehicle lift that's fixed to the floor. On this side, we're putting in a vehicle lift, but it's not fixed to the floor. It's basically 4 posts that they can move as they need to. So if they only have to lift a pickup truck, for example, they only use 2 of the posts. If they have to lift a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower, they use 1. If they have to bring in one of their larger vehicles, they can use all 4. So it gives them a lot of flexibility. And instead of having just 2 lifts, we in essence have 4 different lifts that we can be using at any one time. So we're quite pleased with that too. So that's all the good stuff. That's called infrared heating, Doug. What happens is it heats up on that end. There's basically a flame on that end and a fan, and it just blows the heat through there. Same as the other room, right? Yep, same as the other room. It's what we've got over here. It's pretty common in large garages like this. Here's the one issue that we haven't quite been able to take care of yet, and it's one that is going to require some extra dollars, and we're putting all that together. The new roof is in good shape. The existing roof we knew had some leaks, and in the contract we were simply going to fix those leaks, put patches on the areas that we knew were leaking. When the crews went up to start doing that, they found that the problem was much, much worse than we imagined. And what happens, or what's happening is there's screws on these steel panels that hold the panels to the roofing joists, if you will. Well, they're starting to get worn, and the holes that they're in are oblong and all that sort of thing. So that's one problem. The second thing they found as they were going through and replacing these screws is that every place the panels are supposed to meet, there's supposed to be a mastic in there, both to help hold the panels together and provide some leak protection. It was very poorly done. In some places there was no mastic. In other places the seam was here and the mastic was over here. And so the contractor that was doing the roof said they absolutely would not guarantee the roof under those conditions, that we either had to take the existing roof off and replace the whole thing, or another option is to put another roof over the top that actually runs perpendicular to the existing roof. And that's the only way he would guarantee that it wouldn't leak. And they found as they started on the west end and moved to the east end, the problems got worse. So, and they anticipated or figured out that this is the side they started on, and as they went that way, there's less and less mastic, less and less sealing. The screws are in worse shape. There were places on this side, on the old part, where there was no seal, if you will, between the roof panel and the ceiling. And so the water was running down the roof, following the roof panel in, and then coming in the building. And there was a corner back there where when it rained, it literally rained inside too. So, as I said, we're putting together some numbers and some ideas for how we can fix this. Our attitude is that why, put $2 million into a new building and then have a roof that's going to leak and do damage to what we've just repaired. So we've got some initial estimates. They're somewhere between $130,000 to $150,000 to make this repair, and we'll be presenting that to the council in a week or so and see what we can do. The company that is doing this building is called New Structures. They did all of the, including, well, they would do the roof too. Yeah, they were the subcontractor to actually build the building and do the remodeling. Excuse me. Right. Doug asked if we could sue the original. I won't respond to that question necessarily, but I can tell you that we found some other shortcuts while they were remodeling that were really frustrating.
You remember that the original design architect left the site and refused to come back.
Yeah.
This building, the original building here, the original contractor, the original engineer was pulled from Van Dyke. And they did the original design and put it out for bid. And Jean was the city manager, and she told me this is what you're going to do. And so she basically started working with the contractor, who was Moss Brothers. And she cut the price down to what she thought it should be. So the HVAC was undersized, the fire suppression system didn't work. Some of the air ventilation systems were never even turned on. And now we find that the roof wasn't built to the standard that was designed.
Yeah, the overhead doors had to be replaced early. Yeah, we found conduits to nowhere while they were doing this. It's disappointing. I mean, if we can fix most of that with what we're doing and get the roof repaired, we've got a fine building, one that's going to last a while, but we need to address that. The only other thing I'll say real quick, we won't go out there, but along the side, along the creek here, they're doing a lot of grading and preparation over there. This will all be set up so that, like the Parks and Forestry Department has got bins for the different mulches and gravel and that sort of thing. There'll be one of the buildings or one of the pits will be covered so they can keep black dirt in there, that sort of thing. And that'll wind all the way around here so that everything that they need to keep now, either at streets or Parks and Forestry, will be on this site. And it'll make everything, including Santa Claus will be here eventually, yes, too. But, yeah, so I think it'll make everything much more efficient for everybody. And I think it'll stay a little more attractive. I always kind of cringed when I drove by here, but I think we'll have it much more attractive, so. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, we could probably head back out that way and get on the bus. And I'll hit some lights as we're heading out.
The next stop is to talk a little bit. One of the projects that the treatment plant would like to do this year is some sealing of their asphalt parking lots and areas. Along with that, there are a couple places throughout the site on both sides of Rock Creek. There's some maintenance patches to be done to some of the parking lot areas. So our intention is to do some of those patches. I want to say right here by this gate, there's some areas that are, it's not raining now, but you'll see that ponds. We'll look to try and fix some of that drainage and fix some of the areas that need repair before that sealing is done. We bid this late in the fall last year. We quoted this project late in the fall last year, decided to hold off until this spring. Our intention is to go out for bids or for quotes again here in the next couple weeks. You want to get through? And we're going to turn right on Stony Road. Any questions on
Is this in the capital budget then, or is it coming out of?
treatment plant? Starting to pothole. We're going to look to patch some of those areas. Again, there's another area where there's some grass that Bill would like to. It gets rutted because the trucks drive off. I think actually on that corner right there, we're going to look to pave a little bit of that corner to help him out on street maintenance before the sealing.
In the paving that water goes through and into the ground.
The impervious paving, we could look at that, although the downside is that gets filled with silt, and Brandon, I'll let you add to that. So in some of these areas where you've got equipment tracking mud, especially in this side of where you've got sledge hauling trucks that are running out to some of the fields. Paul?
You get him going to the next one?
Oh, yeah, you can
Yeah.
do it.
We're stopping now at Brewster Drive. This is on the capital improvement plan for 2017 currently. This is one that's been on the list for a number of years, and as you know, the 20, as Steve has stated, the CIP is very dynamic, and we reevaluate a 5-year plan every year. It is currently on the 2017 list. Some of the reasons for this street, it was recommended in the water main be upgraded in some of the water studies that were done in previous years. There is also no storm sewer along this street, so some of the pavement issues that are happening are due some of the drainage issues and the lack of storm sewer in this area.
The intersection also at County Highway V needs to be redone, because that three-way intersection, you have, what is it, Cass Place? Yeah. Cass Place and County Highway V and Brewster come together at a point where the traffic creates a lot of problems. And that intersection really needs to be redone. The water issue is different in that it should run from where the new Arbor Creek is up to County Highway V. But we could, in the short term, route down, bring it up a short distance on Brewster, and then run it down Plainview and up Topeka. That would provide some relief. Not what the engineers would want to see. But this intersection right here is a bad intersection. And what happens is a car like that comes around the corner and someone's pulling off that street. It's an accident waiting to happen. This is actually one spot where I think a roundabout might work. And pull it back a little bit into this area and force the traffic to come around and this traffic to come around, and we could make a roundabout work and clean this intersection up. But that's something that the engineer and I will have to work on.
It certainly didn't help when you planted all those pine trees there.
Doesn't help.
And are there accidents happening here?
We haven't actually had any. We've had a lot of complaints, but no actual accidents that I know of.
How receptive are people going to be to roundabouts?
Well,
though?
everybody loves those. Well, this situation, it doesn't take semi-trucks.
Yeah.
In fact, we want to discourage semi-trucks. It slows the people coming into the intersection a little bit. It forces the traffic to kind of flow. And so if you were going to take a roundabout, this would be the best spot to start with. Or some type of design where you had something in the middle where you force the traffic to kind of split up and slow down and come around and back in and merge with this traffic. Because there's no good way to make this intersection work.
We're now on Mulberry Street. This is currently scheduled for 2019. It's in the STP Urban project funding with the DOT. It is currently the funding is $1.4 million, just over $1 million in federal funding and the remaining municipal funds. This street is, let's see, there's some portions of this street that are as old as 1927. There are sewer and water mains that need repair, and most importantly, the limited storm sewer that exists on this street is contributing to the continuation of reconstructions that are happening or maintenance that's happening on this street. The life expectancy of those repairs without storm sewer continues to be a problem. So with this project, storm sewer draining to get the water out of this area is going to be very important. I know that Brandon is also looking at using that system to also pick up other areas in and around this area in future years that also do not have storm sewer. So it's really kind of an area-wide beginning to a storm sewer system that will help not only this street but some of the other streets in this area.
And some of those other streets are Grant Street, Prospect Street, Birch, and a lot of those areas that they're flat and they don't have any stormwater drainage on them. So if you go down this street where Birch hits this street, we just redid that and it's already starting to go. And Prospect, you can look at that street, it's just torn up. But Birch Street North is just a disaster, and you can't keep them. It's like Mulberry here. Every 15 years or less, we're putting in major asphalt patches on this street. And you look at South Main Street, we haven't done much with that street in 30 years. So this street is just, the stormwater drainage on it just makes it a disaster.
So do you have it all designed out then? Because last time you mentioned you didn't have a design yet of how to address that.
We have about I'll call it a 30% design. We've been working on the design, and we have our project extents nailed down pretty well. There's a bunch of reporting that goes along with the grant program that we got for this project that we need to run through. That's why it's a 2019 project. It just takes some time to get all the approvals that you need. If it was a city project, and you could probably build it next year, but it just takes some time. I'd also add that in 2019, the same construction year as this, WISDOT's going to be redecking the bridge going over 94, and that was rescheduled intentionally to match with Mulberry Street to kind of match with the reduced traffic in this area. When they were talking about redecking that bridge, we looked at realigning the bridge to swoop back in towards Owen Street, and the geometrics of it just didn't work, and it would have required some right-of-way acquisition and some, basically a full bridge replacement. It's still a possibility, but it would be many years from now. So that's it.
What lots are included in the plan?
From Grant all the way to Madison.
From Grant to Madison?
Will we go down, stormwater go down here?
It's going to split.
Some of it'll go right here. This is actually a city-owned right-of-way. Some of it'll go this way, some of it'll go down Fargo, and then some of it'll go to Madison.
With the group of trees?
Yeah, this is a...
From that power pole over to the shrub line
Is city right away.
the city right away. That's called the Clark Street right away.
Oh, it goes all the way over to the next street up?
It goes down all to CPM, or
Down
Owen
to,
Street.
down to Crystal.
In part of it, there's a ditch. There's a new kind of assisted living building down there. There's a big ditch behind it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the same right away.
All right.
Let's stop at Fargo.
Okay, you want to go up to Fargo Street?
So we're going to continue down this route, but stop about halfway. There's another project that is planned for this summer and is in the 2016 budget. But as we're driving along, you'll see that you will not find too many storm inlets. And when you do, there are some very undersized pipes in those inlets. So as we were driving up, you saw the school signs. In this year's budget, like on College Street last year, there was a rapid reflective beacon for crosswalk. There's one in the budget for this location as well to be installed sometime in 2016.
Yeah, the only difference with this one is it'll be just the posts on the side of the road. We won't have the big arm over the top of the road, and the only reason for that is we don't have the hill. Yep. Yeah, so we're gonna light this up pretty good.
It's the goal to have it done before school starts in fall.
Yes.
Well,
The most
keep
difficult
us-
part about this is actually getting the equipment here. It's ordered, but it always takes a long time.
Will the lumens be so great that at night we will?
It shouldn't operate at night, Doug, unless some kid is coming out and sabotage. This should only activate during
School time.
Or for elderly, right? From people coming down
yeah, I suppose.
from Willowbrook, because we do have quite a few people.
Yeah, from Brooks.
Yeah.
From,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Some kid just wants to come up here every midnight and hit the button.
We'll chase them out.
There you go.
So we're now at, really from here, we're on Pine Street. You can see two projects that are underway. The Elm Street project, and then further to the north, you'll see the construction of the Culvers that is going at the corner of the new Elm Street and County Trunk Highway V.
Will the curve in the road be where the piece of yellow equipment is?
No, that's on Culvers.
Yeah, you can see the fence.
Curve
I think.
Or that?
Yeah, you can see the erosion control fence. That gravel pile is actually on the north side of the curve. And you can see the stakes, between the stakes there.
It's actually a pile of wood chips. Oh man, you should see all the
This has
lumber they're
been
taking out.
balances out.
All the trees that came out. Unbelievable. And they still have a bunch up on the north end of it.
They're still coming down? I thought they were down.
No, there's a couple right by the power lines they're waiting
Say what?
What about parking on this road?
There will be some parking on this road.
Both sides or one?
One side.
I hope it's the side next to Culver's. That people
Was
don't
that
have
the
to
side
cross.
we decided, or the other side?
Unfortunately, the space right next to Culver's is either very close to the intersection, where you normally don't allow parking. There's a Culver's driveway that you don't want cars parked right near either, because you can't, if you were pulling out of the driveway, you can't see cars on Elm Street. And when you add those two distances up next to Culver's, there's no space left, basically.
So it'll be on the other side?
Oh, well,
Parking will be?
It won't be on either side in that
in that area,
stretch,
no.
because you need the vision and the clearance.
Okay, so it'll be more toward this
More
end.
towards the south end of
Yeah.
the road, yeah.
It'll be
People might have
on one
to
side.
Well, I guess it depends how you want to sign it. The road doesn't have an extra wide lane on one side. It's a symmetrical roadway, but it would be.
Yeah, it would be how we sign it, because we're gonna have. I guess we don't have to, you can leave it parking on the other side,
Yeah.
like we do in all. But the street's kinda narrow for the type of traffic it'll probably see, so we'll probably wanna sign it, but let's see what we get first. If you like the school district, we waited out that first year and then we went in and re-signed it.
Are there any estimates on how much traffic this will get?
No, not on this one.
Because I'm sure it'll be a lot less than the one on the other side where the school
Yeah, where the
is.
school district is. I guess we'll wait and see. Most of the traffic we anticipate is gonna come out of the Culvers and the BP and the subway, and then they're just gonna go and head north around that backside, but we anticipate, what happens now is there's a lot of traffic that's at the Lake Mills Market that cuts through the cemetery. And so we're hoping that they come here and come down this street rather than cutting through the cemetery. And that'll be a discussion that Dwayne has next, so we might as well head up there. But they tie together. I mean,
And as Steve mentioned, there's access to some of the businesses onto Elm Street, such as Subway, BP, that area that will connect through a back driveway to Elm Street.
So do all those businesses there by BSC. What are those? The tanning place and the real estate place and the veterinarian clinic. They all have access on this too.
There's driveway access.
Oh, I see, okay.
So we're here at the cemetery. This is under the Parks Department.
That road is going away.
It's, as you can see, some of the roads in this area are in need of repair, reconstruction. What we are proposing to do for the first phase is to work on the eastern streets or eastern roads in the cemetery with a pulverize and pave project. In addition, as Steve had mentioned, there's quite a bit of cut through that's happening, and there's some areas. There are some areas that actually, some of the roads we're looking to actually remove in the cemetery to reduce some of the cut through that's happening. Now that we've gotten.
Gives us more cemetery spaces.
So you said the eastern side, we're doing
Yeah,
part by
it's
part.
everything from here over that way.
Correct. We are looking at the main two north-south streets on the eastern side in 2016. We will look then to do the western portion in 2017.
The cuts, the removal of the streets is going to be in both years, or first year or second?
The discussions continued again this morning about possibly leaving them for some time. The roads are still intact. There isn't a need to completely remove all of them right away.
And we're doing that ourselves.
And we're doing that with staff.
Don't leave the straightaways and make them curve.
Well, that's my demand, and some of the conversation is that when you have a funeral, to be able to line the cars up, you want to make sure that there's some method that makes it easy for people to get in and out. So Bill and I and Rob and Dwayne are working on that. And there's also maintenance issues, and there's also how does it work with tying in the new part of the cemetery, and it's also, does it make a space that we could then use for additional,
Where's the new part of
lots?
the cemetery?
That green acreage over there, we own everything.
Oh, we do.
We own about 13 acres over there.
Oh.
That's for expansion, that's mine.
We can talk about it.
We can talk about it. So in 2016, later this summer, Griffith Street is slated to be reconstructed. They're currently sewer and water mains are in the same trench. One of the keys with the water system is to replace any water mains that are in locations required by the DNR to remove those. So in this project, there's sewer and water replacement as well as the street reconstruction. This ends from, we are on Fremont Street, and over our shoulder is Griffith. Griffith then extends to Marguerite Street to the north.
Are we going to encourage replacement of laterals off our water main?
Yes, we are.
We have to send a notice.
And we will send a notice to property owners with regard to the possibility that they may have a lead service, and that if they are interested in removing their portion of the lead service to their home, this would be one of the projects that are on the agenda for this year and slated for that.
The
for that
houses
type of
on
work.
the west side probably don't, because they're all relatively new, but the houses on the east side are old and have a high likelihood of having lead services.
This was originally constructed in 1933.
So some of the facilities are pretty old.
Do the laterals have to be entirely removed? You can't put a sleeve in a...
No.
It's cost effective to remove the lateral from the new main to the property line is what the utility would remove, and then up to the property owner would be from the property line to the home.
Most of them are 3/4 inch, Doug, so they're like this. There's no way you're gonna line those.
And are the laterals to the houses always on the same side of the house, or are they one here and one there?
They're wherever the
Every
person
which
puts it.
Every direction. Whatever is easiest. Some properties, when they had wells before the water system was there, the service could actually be going in the backyard. So in some cases, their service wraps all the way around their building. So not even a direction, one side or the other, could actually be on the backside.
Suppose they don't do it when they're reconstructing the street. What happens then if later on, a couple of years
Maybe a
later,
new owner or somebody.
wants to take and pull the system out and reestablish it? Do they have to cut into the street or anything?
No.
No,
It's
so
right to the property line, it's replaced by the city
We'll do it up to the property line?
correct,
with a shut-off valve.
correct.
Yeah, so if they come back later, they can just go to that point.
We'll shut the water valve or the curb stop off, and they can remove and replace their line.
Do these older services all have shut-off valves at the property line?
We will install new ones on any of the new services.
But not all.
Almost.
They should.
They should. I mean, they've been
Okay.
using
Yeah.
them as long as,
The question would
since they stopped using wood.
The question would be is whether they're all accessible and functional. Yes.
Whether they turn to the right or turn to the left,
Or not at all.
or not at all.
Or even if they do turn to the right or left or not at all, they don't shut the water off. Which happens too. Because you have the broken nut.
We're doing a little bit of storms.
We're also doing some storm water drainage improvements here. Right now, there's nothing on this street, and it kind of down at Aaron's side here kind of loops around. It kind of turns and goes down Aaron's side and makes its way kind of across, kind of funnels across the street. Just not a great drainage path, and it kind of it crosses the street there on Aaron's side, and so we're going to funnel it all the way to the end and take it to a true stormwater storm sewer system.
And we're not putting sidewalks on both sides of the street.
Yeah, correct. We're replacing most of the sidewalk that's there already, but no sidewalk on the west side.
Just because there's no.
Because, yeah, it's very, very, very narrow right away there.
Do I want to do this one? There's the dam. That's going away, and we're building a new dam. You can see the dam is actually falling into the mill pond, or the wing walls of the dam. The new dam will not be boards in front of a pipe. The new dam will actually have wings or gates on it that will rise and fall. It'll go through a pipe through to about the middle of this pine tree, and then it will open up and there'll be a spillway down to, you can see the low spot down there, and then it will drain into a manhole that will then take it under the highway, and it will wrap that Arts Alliance fence around it as much as we can, and then we'll try and match it with a new fence. They'll put up that windmill again, and so it'll be kind of restored with a nice spillway, and the dam will be automated, so you can check it online. City employees can check it online anytime they want, and then it kicks out a report, a PDF report weekly that we will put online for people to check. And if there's any failures, it automatically notifies us. If that gets plugged, it automatically cleans itself, and so it should be a minor step up from what we have now. Anything else? It will start this summer and should be done, well, yeah, in October. Yeah. If Warren doesn't get on the ball, it'll be December.
Draining the lake too.
No, they put in a cofferdam. They'll actually drive things into the ground here, and it'll be like a dam. And then they'll pump all the water out of this portion, and then from behind the cofferdam, they'll pump to the manhole over there, and that's how they regulate the lake level. They still have to meet the required DNR lake levels. So they have to have a pump that's set up there that can tell what the lake levels are.
So in other words, when we were working on the road, it'll be kind of like the same thing.
Only with our pipes going across the road.
Yeah, they don't have to go across the road now. They just go to that inlet there next to the road. So from here to there will be pipes laid that will actually pump it off.
And there's already a manhole there where that
Yes.
going into.
Yep.
So the project starts at the manhole and then. Yeah,
We can
there's
just
a
talk
manhole
about,
right
you
there
want
in the
us
grass.
to have them
You
stop
see it,
for a
this is
second?
The low spot there, right over there. The pipes will run from there back to where the cofferdam is, and then that manhole actually stays there, and the water from the spillway actually runs into that manhole, and then it runs under the highway, and under that building, and then comes out by the municipal building.
So we're kind of going to talk about, we're going to kind of drive through. I don't know if we're going to stop anywhere along this route. You're all familiar with the DOT project schedule for 2018 from Madison Street south to the south end of the city. In addition, on the left side here, as we travel for a few blocks, there's also an electric project going on in the backyards. This year. And as we head further to the south, it would actually extends on the west side of the street. This will be water and sewer replacement, new storm sewer, total reconstruction. New sidewalk, new curb and gutter, new concrete pavement.
New electric.
Just real quick, you see outside here, that's some of the electric conduit that we've put in. The last part of our 3-year project now is actually coming from Rotary Park through the backyards over here between Woodland Beach Court and here. And then Lakeside has been very cooperative in allowing us to cut through their property. If you look up on the hill, you can see conduit sitting on the ground up there. That all will get pulled into the ground over the next couple of weeks. And then this will eventually weave its way across the street, across Main Street, past the high school, the public high school, where we'll be putting in one of our mini subs that we've talked about in the past. And then that'll extend all the way up to City Hall, which is where we ended about the end of 2014. That's where we ended this portion of it. When this is done, we will have a loop that goes all the way around the lake, which is something we didn't have before. Remember, it goes now around the south end, all the way up to the north end, all the way around, and that's the 25,000 volt system. We still will have our 4,000 volt system downtown, and that we've pretty much decided we're not going to mess with. It's just too expensive to change everything over to that voltage. But what happens with this setup is that both the high schools, the industrial park, really just about anywhere else we're going to see a lot of industrial growth will all be served on the 25.9. It'll all be looped. The other side of the lake will now have the capability to be fed in 2 different directions, which we didn't have before. So we're really improving the reliability.
That mess downtown's not going to be taken out of there?
That mess downtown will be going away.
Oh, it will.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, all of the equipment in the substation downtown is gone. So that substation is no longer in service. In fact, yeah, the new owner wanted us to leave the structure. He's going to make it some kind of an artsy thing. You laugh. He is. But that big old metal structure outside of the substation, that's going away. A lot of the lines behind the Legion and through there, that's all going away. Yeah, it's going to look much better back there. While we're doing this, I should let you know too, and in fact, one of the reasons we stopped here is we're getting ready for what we have to do on Main Street for the road move. On the other side of Main Street, basically from the golf course south, we've got to redo all that to get our poles out of the way of Main Street. So we'll be putting some underground there, running that out to Vita Plus, and getting all that stuff ready so that in 2018, when they do Main Street, All the electric that has to be out of the way is out of the way. And we're ready for the street lighting. So we're getting all those plans, but we don't know. And you can probably figure out the second answer to that question. That's their baby. We don't have to worry about them. The only thing I will tell you we're doing here, and it was part of the deal with Lakeside, is that we're running a separate conduit so they can put fiber optic in. So, excuse me, when we're done, Lakeside will have the ability to connect to the fiber optic system and hook all our computers up. The high school will have the same capability. We'll be putting a conduit in for them so that they can connect all their buildings with fiber optic eventually.
So we're driving down Topol Street, which is in the city. As you can tell, this rural section is in need of maintenance. Currently, this is in the 2020 CIP. It's at the end of the CIP time frame at this point. Some of the options that we're looking at is extending and repairing some of the shoulders and the edges of the pavement. Again, this is 5 years out.
And this curve will go away, and this street will go right straight down through there.
The county is looking to, from the city limits here, as Steve has mentioned, the county is looking to straighten out some of this area in the future, in the near future.
And do you know what year? Next year.
Sure. So this is another construction project for this year. We're at East Lake Park Place. In this project, there's new water main construction. There is some sanitary sewer repairs, some lining, similar to the next project we're going to head to, and then total reconstruction of the street. In this project is also some storm sewer in preparation of the Main Street project in 2018. One of the areas, this is one of the low areas that will collect some of the stormwater from Main Street and will extend the pipe to the east end of the fish hatchery and then out to Rock Creek. Brandon?
That's one of the issues that drove why we did this project this year, was we knew we had to have the stormwater in before the 18 project. The other thing is sidewalks. The street doesn't have any sidewalks, and we're going to curb and gutter it and put sidewalks on it so that you can get to school. This is a sidewalk gap area that's being closed up.
Yeah.
Regarding the sidewalk, the school district was very cooperative and granted us a permanent easement for the sidewalk on top of the slope here, because a lot of this stretch here has a pretty steep slope on it that would have been difficult to cut a sidewalk into within the city's right-of-way. So it's actually going on top of the slope up on school property. Right on top of that berm right there is where it'll go. Yeah, and I think.
Have you fixed the stormwater at this?
Oh yes, the stormwater here has been an issue in larger storms. It would run around the corner into the apartment building, and the sidewalk that goes past there and the driveway apron will, have a pitch to keep the water in the roadway when the project is done. What?
Most water.
Sure, most water. The other thing that we're doing is these power poles are all staying. So the sidewalk will be in between the power poles and the fish hatchery fence on the north-south side of the road. Right, north side. And then one other just minor detail is the control panel for the pump station down the road a ways here was already replaced in preparation for the project. It was pretty low to the ground, and we're raising the grade there. So Bill had the control panel replaced. He actually recycled a panel from another project that we had taken off. So that'll start going pretty soon here. The contract's been awarded. Oh, I'm sorry, it has not been awarded. It has not been awarded. The bids have been open, and we're just waiting on contract award. So.
You have to go to the meeting with the DNR and the BOAs.
Yeah.
Explain why they should pay for it.
Yeah.
So this is the Water Street slip lining project. Back in 2002, Lake Street Sanitary Sewer was constructed, which took the main flow from Water Street and put it on Lake Street. The intention is that in the long term, in 2018, the south side of the city along Main Street will flow to this sewer. So in preparation of that, we're looking to line this sewer before that flow is introduced into this line again. It would extend from the Lake Street sewer down Grove Street to Water, and then from Water over to Main.
Why don't you explain how we line it?
Okay. So the lining is a resin that is inserted inside of the manholes, down the pipe. It is all done non-trenching methods. In other words, we're not going to be tearing up the street, so to speak, to put the liner in. They're actually able to put the equipment down in the line to cut the laterals back open. The discussion is still underway about exactly the extent of the lateral repairs that will occur in this area. If in some of the methods the laterals can be exposed at the property line, and that may occur, but in the full intent is to line the main line of this sewer in this area.
What's that give it for life then?
It should renew the life of the sewer to a new pipe condition. We will lose a little bit of capacity, but in a sense, we're reducing the amount of flow that would be coming down this pipe because we've moved and added capacity to Lake Street in 2002.
Go ahead. Actually, initially when you line, the inside diameter of the pipe gets thinned down a little bit, but the smoothness of the pipe often increases, so your total capacity, and there's no leaking. And there's also less joints. This is mostly, we believe, a clay sewer, so the sticks of pipe were very small. And so you have a lot of joints which slow down the water. And so the capacity initially, it shouldn't really go down, it might even go up.
And it's a 15-inch pipe, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So
yeah.
It has a huge capacity compared to what it's carrying right now.
Right.
If you add South Main Street, you can take up a lot. That'll take up a lot of sewer.
Right.
What's the age of the sewer? Do you know?
I'm not sure, do you, Dwayne?
Unfortunately, I don't have that.
I mean, clay pipe generally indicates, 40, 50 years old. So, yeah. And that portion from Grove to CP on Lake was done in 2002, I believe, right?
Portion in 2002 and a portion in 1991, actually.
Okay.
There may be long-term, there may be portions from the bridge towards CP, depending on full growth around the city. There may be some areas there that will get to capacity that will have to be revisited along that stretch that was repaired in 1991. But at this point, that growth hasn't happened yet.
We've actually reduced our flows. Instead of going up, we've gone down.
And the slip lining will potentially add to that reduction as well, as Brandon has said. If you reduce the amount of leaks, there actually may be a reduction in the amount of flow in this
Especially on
line.
the street. It got its name for a reason.
Anybody have any other business? No future agendas? No? Okay. Meeting is then adjourned.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Here, I'll help you.